Hola, amigos. Aaron Vercruci here to take you through the week on HRTV. With the Hall of Fame inductions on Friday, HRTV got the thoughts from Bill Mott, Jonathan Shepard, and Nick Zito about what it means to be a now Hall of Famer.
You know, after you've been there for a while, you realize that you're with an elite group of guys and people that have worked hard all their lives and had a good deal of success, but very talented and knowledgeable people. And you know, it's kind of fun to put on that blue blazer whenever they have the induction ceremony, and you know, you're sitting in there with Jonathan Shepard or an Alan Jerkins and a lot of the great people that are in there. You know, riders are also included in that group, and a lot of good horses as well.
I'm very blessed to be a member of the Hall of Fame. I don't quite know how I managed to get in, but I'm certainly very grateful, and it does mean a lot to me. I mean, obviously, if you have pride in your work and you like to be sort of be accepted as being one of the best of your particular field, it always puts a little lump in my throat when you go over there and everyone has to stand up and turn and, you know, they read a little background on your stats and whatnot, and you know, you look around at the other people and it does make you realize that it is something that's really big and it's very meaningful, and whether I should be in it or not doesn't make any difference at that point, because I'm just happy to be hanging out with guys that I really look up to.
You know, it's a tremendous achievement. I think it's most people it's a lifetime achievement, you know, and it's certainly special because obviously, you know, people reward you for what you've done. And, you know, I'm sure there's some great trainers out there that'll, and jockeys and other people that should be in there. But there's only a few that get chosen every year, and it's a tremendous honor. What could you say?
HRTV's own Hall of Famer Gary Stevens got the 2010 Hall of Fame induction started by giving the keynote speech.
How do you achieve greatness? Well, I believe that starts from early childhood. We all have mentors. We all have people that have had an impact on our life. And when I say we, I'm talking about all Hall of Fame members, the horses included. You've had, at some point in your life, a teacher, a parent, some sort of guardian, a boss that gave you inspiration to go on and be the best at what you can be. And there are hiccups in everybody's road to success. I'm sure everybody, when you walk through the Hall of Fame, every plaque that you look at, stories can be told of how difficult it was to get to the point of being inducted into the Hall of Fame. And today's members are no different. Whether it's horse or human, there are always problems that you have to overcome to be the best of a generation.
HRTV also brought live coverage of the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Now we bring you highlights from some of the 2010 inductees' speeches.
If I had one race to take back in my training career, I think it would be the 2001 Kentucky Derby. I think I had the best horse that day, but we came up short. The bad news was that we had lost the Kentucky Derby. The good news that we didn't know just then was that this would be the last time that Point Given would ever get beat. For the next 3 months, Point Given proved to be what I thought he was in the Kentucky Derby, unbeatable. For those 3 months in the summer of 2001, he was without a doubt the best racehorse in the sport, and in my mind very well might be the best horse I've ever trained. 4 times I've trained a horse to win 2 of the 3 Triple Crown races, but I've yet to get that Triple Crown. Silver Charm, Real Quiet, and War Emblem were outstanding horses, but looking back, I have to say that Point Given was probably the best chance I really had to win the Triple Crown.
Best Pal, for my family, was probably the epitome of horses, and to be in this group today and to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, a little emotional here. The only thing we're missing is my mom and my dad. They would be so proud to have this event happen and be here. They love their horses. They love breeding horses. We did homebreds. A lot of people go to the sale ring like this and they buy horses and they race them. We bred our horses, we raised our horses, we raced our horses. We sold horses too in the sale ring. Best pal never would have made it in the sale ring worth a darn. He was a great big ugly tough son of a gun. He wouldn't have brought the reserve, the $1,000 opening, but he had the mind. But he got on the racetrack and he knew what his job was. He was there to race. He was there to win every time he could. And probably the epitome of racing for us was the first Pacific Classic in Del Mar. Dad was the chairman of the board, and Dad had said for years, we need $1 million race at Del Mar. And he finally got it. In the inaugural race, we won it with Best Pal. That was just a real emotional day for so many people, including myself. As you can see right now, the memories just kind of flow back in when you think about this. But to be in this kind of a group, in this kind of an organization, to have this kind of an honor is a true, true honor. I want to thank everybody and keep racing.
I really want to thank the committee that voted for me and all the trainers that put me on their horses. They've taken a big chance, and Neil Drysdale was one of them, Mr. Lucas, Mr. Jolly. They all rode me on their horses, and Alan Jerkins. It was a lot of fun. I never even imagined that when I was 12 years old, riding matched races around Oregon and Northern California, and at the county fairs, you didn't have to be 16 to ride there. And I riding in Levi's and tennis shoes, and didn't imagine that it would lead to something like this. I'm very honored. Thank you very much.
I'm so excited. It's been a long time. I've been waiting for this day for a long time. So here we go. The first one, I want to thank Kenny. Kenny did a great job. Thank Kenny Dunn. And I want to congratulate all the fellow inductees. And I want to thank you all for coming out to celebrate this special day with me. I'm so happy to make it to the Hall of Fame. It was a dream that come true. And I finally made it. Dreams do come true. I'm so thankful that I'm on this side of the dirt and on the other side of the dirt to receive this incredible honor. In closing, I would like to thank my family for all being there for me, for the ups and downs. I love you, Randy, Donna, and Tyler, and Mia, and also Rita Rosselli. More than you can imagine, I love my wife, Cricket. You've always been in my corner, and you've always been my best friend in my life. And you were always there for me, for the good and the bad. Thank you. Thank you for going out on this remarkable ride with me. I love you. And at last, I would like to give special hello to my precious granddaughter, who is sitting at home watching me. Mia, Papa loves you. Love you and inspiration. She keeps me going. I love you all so much. Thank you for this special day. It fulfills my dreams. I love you all. God bless.
The Hall of Fame theme culminated with the 2010 edition of the National Museum of Racing Hall of Fame Stakes.
Interactive is switched to the far outside. And then farther back, Citrus Kid. Nordic Truce in behind horses. Alongside him, it's Grand Rapport. Now they're coming into the last furlong. And it's Krypton. Krypton narrowly. Interactive. Grand Rapport there on the far outside, charging hard. Nordic Truce in between horses. Coming down to the finish. Interactive going head-to-head here with Krypton. Krypton Interactive. And on the outside, Grand Rapport. So it's three of them in a photo finish. Interactive, Grand Rapport, and Krypton 3 noses on the wire in the National Museum of Racing Hall of Fame Stakes.
Fast forward through the commercials, HRTV Rewind returns with this.
I think it's a very, very competitive race. I got to feel like everybody in the race thinks they've got a chance to win.
Position limit, spurred on by Johnny Velasquez, is pulling away from them all. Position limit. This was a good-looking effort to win the Adirondack by 4. Better Talk now, the 10-year-old on the far outside. Telling comes clear, and they're coming down to the final furlong, and it is Telling who comes away with the lead. Better Talk now, giving his all on the outside for the final 100 yards. Telling trying to hold on here for the upset, and it is Telling to do it. Telling a 33-1 winner of the Sword Dancer.
Steve Hobby joined Race Day America to tell us about his horse's chances to repeat in the Sword Dancer.
Last year, we saw one of the biggest performances of Telling's life. 101 buyer as he took the Grade 1 Sword Dancer. How is he coming into this year's edition as compared to last year?
Pretty close to the same. I mean, I couldn't ask for him to be doing any better. It just takes him a while to get fit, I think.
How do you gauge this year's competition, and do you see it any differently than last year?
I think it's pretty close to the same kind of race. I think it's a very, very competitive race. I got to feel like everybody in the race thinks they've got a chance to win.
It truly looks to be that way. But going back to last year's edition, Steve, 46 and 4 to the half, 111 flat to 3/4 in a 1.5 mile turf race. Do you really think that you can expect something like that, or are you really even worried about trying to or hoping for a situation like that set up in front of them?
Yeah, I don't see that happening again. I mean, there's a few horses with speed, but they're 1.5 mile kind of speed horses, and I would be surprised if they went quite that fast. I think we caught a real fast course last year, but I don't think we're a victim of that. I mean, that's probably his best case. Let the speed carry him a little bit, and get first run on the closers. But hopefully we can do that even with a slower pace.
This week's Lane's End feature race of the week, the Sword Dancer, Grade 1 from Saratoga, was a wide open field.
Collie now driving full out on that lead, coming to the last furlong, and Rogue Victory is charging hard on the outside. 4 lengths behind, 1 furlong to go. 3 lengths behind is Rogue Victory. All Collie's still there, and All Collie's going to do it wire to wire. Attention, here's Better Talk now. They're coming down to the finish. Grand Couturier comes on through and charges to the lead. Telling to do it. Telling a 33-1 winner of the Sword Dancer. And Marlang maintains the lead. Jeff Pegasus, the 2010 leading rider, Joel Rosario and Marlang do it in the sunset. It's Al Collie, the leader, turning for home. Nothing left for Marlang, who's come to a stop. Expansion in full flight for that lead on the outside. And Telling is coming up the rail. Bear Path is coming down the outside. Interpretation looking for a way through. Wild finish coming here. Here's Telling on the fence. Telling comes bursting away from the field to win the Sword Dancer back to back.
Jack Wolf joined Race Day America to discuss his entry position limit in the Adirondack.
It is position limit that you're sending postward in today's Adirondack. How is she coming into the race?
She's been training very well. Actually, she breezed with Stay Thirsty that won a pretty impressive race yesterday. So she's training very well, and hopefully she'll run well today.
Top of the stretch, Alienation and Position Limit. Those two head-to-head for the lead with 1 furlong to go. And Position Limit, spurred on by Johnny Velasquez, is pulling away from them all. position limit. This was a good-looking effort to win the Adirondack by 4.
After the break,
it was really nice because it was on a very nice filly. I mean, she just ran lights out today, and you know, and thanks to Richard for sending up such a nice one for me to win my 11,000 fund.
I was determined to not. It was almost a way of me thumbing my nose at the cancer and at the treatment and proving to myself and my children and my husband that I could overcome it.
Into the home running, 3/16 left to go, and Separate Forest has raced to a big lead. Separate Forest, will the Hall of Fame jockey getting his 11,000th win for a Hall of Fame trainer? You bet he will. Separate Forest is putting a huge space in them. Russell Bays' wine glass overfloweth. Indeed, he has a magnum of winners.
Russell Bays didn't take long to get to career win 11,000 and was just as quick to join Maximum Horsepower to talk about the milestone win.
From the jockey's room at the Sonoma County Fair at Santa Rosa, joining us now the 11,000 man Russell Bays. Russell, thank you for taking the time and welcome.
Oh, thank you.
You've done a lot of things. What was it like when you finally got to the 11,000?
Well, it was really nice because it was on a very nice filly. I mean, she just ran lights out today, and you know, and thanks to Richard for sending up such a nice one for me to win my 11,000 fund.
So this must feel good that it came quickly.
Yeah, this was over in a hurry this time.
Russell, there's a lot of people out there, and I'm one of them, that wants to know, realistically, how far do you want to keep going?
Oh, I'm healthy. There's no reason for me to even think about quitting. You know, as long as I've got the support of the horsemen up here, I'm going to keep going. You know, there's just no reason to even think about it at this point.
Well, Russell, I've been watching some of your rides lately, and you know, I think you're riding better, and I'm not just saying that. During the Golden Gate meet, I was watching you on a speed horse, and you took it back. I mean, you come through, and that's why you were at 11,000, and no other reason. So definitely kudos go out to you.
Oh, thank you.
Russell,
like I said, but you know, I mean, you can't do it without the stock, and I've just been really blessed with the support of the horsemen.
How long have you and Ray Harris been together, your agent? I mean, this is one of the longest standing relationships in the business.
28 years, I believe it is.
Congratulations on that, too, because that's something you just don't see. Who was there with you today of your family?
My wife, my oldest daughter, and her husband, and my grandson.
Mary Wiley Wagner is back to the races after beating her battle with cancer.
How soon after the Lady Legends race for the cure did you decide, you know what, I think that maybe I'll give this another crack?
Oh, about the time that my feet hit the ground.
Did you expect to have that much fun?
I didn't. I think we all went into it with, you know, hoping that we would do a good job, that we would look good, be strong enough, be fit enough. We all worked very hard, but it felt so good. It went by way too fast, and just I think I had just worked way too long to not at least give it a shot and see what happens.
Mary, the most amazing part of this entire story is the fact that you're a cancer survivor, and while getting ready for the Lady Legends race, you were actually going through chemo. Now, that is something that just absolutely blows my mind, having seen what that can do to a person firsthand. How were you able to overcome those chemo treatments and stay in shape and get fit and get on horses?
Well, when they contacted me for the Legends race, they contacted me in October, and my chemo treatments, my last one was November 24th of last year. So I started slow at home with weights, and then in January, that's when I started hitting the gym and hitting it very, very hard, pushing myself harder than I've ever pushed in my life. But I had made a commitment. I had said yes, and I'm a person of my word, and I was determined to not. It was almost a way of me thumbing my nose at the cancer and at the treatment and proving to myself and my children and my husband that I could overcome it.
Millie Ball gave an update on the International Breeders' Cup contingents in this week's Pursuit of the Cup.
Firstly, the very, very disappointing news of the defection of Harbinger, who ran one of the greatest performances of all time in the King George and Queen Elizabeth Stakes. He was retired this week to stud due to a condylar fracture. Twice over, he'll square up again with Andre Fabre's Byword. Byword beat him in the Group 1 Prince of Wales Stakes. Twice over flattered that form, winning the Group 1 Coral Eclipse. And here's Monsieur Fabre on the exciting rematch.
He probably needed the race, so it might have been a bit flattering for Byword, you know. And we already had 2 races. There's not much between the 2 horses. I think if he runs well, that we're going to run in the arc.
Richard Hannon supplemented the 3-year-old millionaire Dick Turpin. He'll get an 8-pound weight break against the older males. And this is a race, the Juddmonte International, that has produced a lot of Breeders' Cup contenders, but if it wasn't for Tiznow, both Saki and Giants Causeway would have won the Breeders' Cup Classic. The Prix Jacques Lemoine, the entries are out, and this is on Sunday at Deauville. Paco Boy, he's taking another crack at Goldacova, and their last rendezvous was in the Queen Anne Stakes. Our girl, of course, came out on top. And Fanny Salmon, our international correspondent, has more on the field and the history of this race.
Jacques Lemoine built the Deauville Grandstand in 1911 and gave his name to a mile contest well worth checking in pursuit of the Cup. The Mawa winners have claimed no less than 6 Breeders' Cup titles. The trend started with legendary Miesque, who liked to do everything in twos. 2 Mawa trophies on the Deauville straight 8-furlong course, each time leading to a double with the Breeders' Cup line. Interestingly, Freddie had preferred the Prix du Moulin to the Prix Jacques Lemoine in 2008 with Goldacova. The filly had a busy first part of her 3-year-old season, having faced Arcava in the French Guineas and Oaks. But he still says that winning the 2009 Mawa with his Wonder Mare is the biggest thrill of his career. So how is Goldacova, just days before the 2010 Mawa?
She's very well, I think she's as well as last time, and even maybe a bit better. She loves it here. I don't think I've had her in better condition.
The Yorkshire Oaks, also at York next Thursday, unveils the highly anticipated meetup between last year's Breeders' Cup filly and mare champ Midday and 2009 Yorkshire Oaks heroine Dare Mi, who won the Dubai Shima Classic against males in March. Very likely we will see both of them at Churchill Downs in the Breeders' Cup filly and mare turf. And a Euroflare in Chicago next weekend. The Arlington Million, John Gosden, as of today, is sending 2. Debussy and Taziz, a threat off his 3rd to Byword and twice over in that Group 1 Prince of Wales Stakes. Summit Surge won the Group 2 York Stakes for Luca Kamani. In the Secretariat Stakes, we have Wigmore Hall, ridden by Jamie Spencer. He's a colt by High Chaparral. And then the Beverly D. 2 horses have been entered for the Beverly D. Biased, trained in France by Michael Delzangles, and also Patch Attack for Gerard Butler. Gerard telling me this morning on the phone that she is in cracking form.
That's all this week on HRTV as we put a bow on the box and look forward to next week. Here's what's coming up.